Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. I'm extremely excited to be joined by Jamie Loeb, WTA American tennis player, and I'm extremely excited to have her on because we're going to be talking about her journey, her ambitions, talking a little bit about the current tennis scene as well. How are you doing, Jamie?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on and agreeing to come on as well. I know you're in between tournaments at the moment, so I do appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come on. First of all, I guess for people who I'm sure most tennis fans are familiar with you, but for those who are a bit less familiar and slightly more casual, do you want to just give a little bit of insight into how you got into the sport and ended up turning pro?
Yeah, so I'm 26. I started playing tennis when I was 3 years old. I'm the youngest of four. I have two brothers and a sister. So everyone played growing up. My mom taught herself tennis. And then by the time I came along, had the tennis racket in my hand. So yeah, I've been playing for quite some time. Went to UNC for 2 years, played college tennis, and then turned pro after my sophomore year. And I've been playing on tour now for 6 years. Wow, that sounds like a lot. It does, but doesn't. But I'm actually still taking classes as we speak. So I am working towards finishing my degree while playing on tour.
Nice. Sounds very smart. So that's cool. That's really good. Nice. What's it in, if you don't mind me asking?
My degree,
Yeah.
communications. Yeah, I
Nice.
mean, I would want to do marketing, sports marketing, and I mean, communications is pretty broad, so I can kind of pick and choose in that field.
That's cool. Nice. Well, seems you've got all areas covered, so that's cool. But you forgot to mention a little bit that maybe I'm mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That you trained at the John McEnroe Tennis Academy, which is quite cool.
I
How was that?
did. Yeah, I was there for about like 5 or 6 years.
Mm,
Yeah, I second half of my kind of junior career, I was there, and when I was in college, I come back and train there. Yeah, I got some time on court with John, and yeah, it's good.
is he exactly like how I guess people at home, I guess, perceive him being on comms like very bubbly, very. I think he's
I don't
obviously not
think
scared.
bubbly is the term
No,
at
what's the
all.
term that you'd use?
He's very blunt and
Okay.
straightforward and not one to dish out a lot of compliments, but when he does, you really remember them and take those in. Yeah, he calls it how he sees it. He's very competitive. We got into it quite a bit when we would play against each other. A lot of trash talking. Unfortunately, he's won almost every time when we would play any sort of game or set, which bothers me to this day. But yeah, no, I mean, he's highly competitive and loves the game so much.
What? Again, you don't have to answer this, but you talked about trash talking. What kind of trash talking are we talking?
Just like talking about like even if I'd like miss a shot in like the warm up, like he would just just his like gestures and just
Trying to
like
get in your head straight away.
yeah, just like trying to get in my head that like he's gonna win and like not gonna beat me with that shot or if you do that or like just things like that and just oh, there's a home phone and then just antics that he does. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. That sounds like the Grand Slam champion and him coming out to play when you guys are hitting, but it must have been a good experience then, nonetheless. I mean, obviously the competitive side, kind of aside, it would have been. I mean, I'm assuming he gave some pretty good tips and I guess tricks of the trade as well. Did you find that as well whilst you were there?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with his coaching style, he just like he coaches the way he plays the game and sees the game, so it's hard to relate. But, as far as coming to net and transitioning and knowing when to come in and how to use your hands and even like my half volleys, honestly, I give him that credit. Like I
Mm.
really think I have a good half volley and I learned that from him and just watching him but yeah, I think I learned a lot from transitioning and then just him talking about the unforced errors and just the focus and intensity in every single shot and having a purpose. And I think, that's something that I still think about and try to do in all my practices. So yeah, there's a lot of takeaways from him.
Mm, that's really interesting. And I think that kind of leads me quite nicely on to a question I was going to ask you about kind of mentality, because obviously you've now been playing for a few years now, and so you've definitely had a taste of being a pro. And I wanted to get your opinion on it, because I find it quite interesting, really, as someone who doesn't play as a pro, just plays casually in his spare time. What kind of percentage would you say is mental in tennis? Because obviously you've got all these intricacies, as you're talking about, obviously the technical side, which is really important, and practicing and training. But when you actually get out there onto the court, how much do you think, kind of maybe as a percentage, is actually the mental side of it?
I go back and forth, but like honestly, like 60, 70%, like a
Mm,
big percentage is mental. And that's what I've found with me. And I've seen also with a lot of players. I think that's just, something like, especially now in the game where just finding that advantage, it just comes from the mental side and confidence and just, you know, everything. Like it's really important.
mm. You've had a lot of success, not just in singles, but in doubles as well. What uh, I'm gonna just ask, in terms of playing singles and doubles, how does it transition to the other? Do they help each other? Like, I guess in doubles, you're playing a lot of the net. Does that then help your game at the net when you're playing singles, and vice versa? Like, ground stress as well. I guess you're going to be more on the baseline during the singles, obviously having to rely more on yourself. Then is that kind of okay? Well, I can take more ownership when I'm playing doubles. I don't have to rely on someone as much. Or how do you see it? How does it help?
I think, I'm a big proponent of playing singles and doubles. The only thing, the downside is I don't have a consistent partner at the moment, so it's kind of tough week to week. But I think it's definitely helped, serve, return, transitioning, moving forward, and at the net reacting, and just the overall movement, like cutting the ball off when you're at the net, your approach shots, like just, I think there's so much you can learn and gain in doubles to help you with singles. And I think my net game has improved over the years, and I do like coming to net and being at the net. And I think some of that is from playing doubles and being comfortable at moving forward and hitting volleys.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's interesting because you see, like, Krajko, for example, this year she played a lot of doubles, didn't she? And then now she's obviously having a lot of success in the singles, and won a Grand Slam. And people were saying, "Oh, but she plays a lot of doubles, and is she going to be able to be successful in the singles game?" But I think it just proves that it's kind of, they definitely can go hand in hand if you, I guess, apply yourself in the right way, which is really interesting. Um, you played against Krajkova, didn't you, this year? I think.
I did. I
Yeah.
did. And then I got COVID right
Oh,
after, or maybe I had it during that match. I don't
oh my
even
god.
know. But yeah, that was Abu
Oh
Dhabi. That was
no.
that was the time. Yeah, and then she took off after that. So you know what? She
Wow.
got that confidence from me. You're welcome.
Yeah, you have all the credit for the French Open. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
How was she? Like, how was it playing her as someone, as an opponent? I mean, what does she bring to the table?
I actually thought it was going to be a good matchup for me because I know prior to that, she barely played any hardcore tournaments and
Mm,
clay courts. It's kind of her specialty. And, but honestly, it went really fast. Those courts were really quick. I think that match was not really a great representation of how I play or
yeah.
how I want to play. But she took balls early. And she has a big swing on her forehand, but when she times it well, she redirects well. Has mixes up her serve, her placement, and like you said, she plays doubles a lot, so she knows how to move in and take some swinging volleys, take some volleys. So yeah, no, she played a very solid match. Barely any errors, and felt like I was working really hard, but wasn't enough.
Mm. No, to be fair, if if you were ill at the time, then that probably doesn't help.
which I didn't know. And then the next day, I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, but the recent tournament that obviously that just went, and obviously you were part of it as well, the US Open, which I think personally is probably one of the best Grand Slams I've seen in a while. I thought it was really exciting, obviously with the winners and the people in the final as well. Youngsters coming through, and I just thought overall just a very exciting tournament. I kind of even putting that to one side. I mean, how did you find it? First of all, obviously you got through qualifying, did really well, and then obviously in the first round you had a really tough. I mean, looking at that, that's probably like one of the toughest like draws you could have got with Iga Swiatek, who has been in pretty good form and obviously top 10 player. And you've how do you find it? I guess with crowds were there, which is nice. I'm assuming it's nice to have them back. And was it a bit nicer to have slightly more relaxed conditions? Because I'm assuming you've been in quite a few quarantines and stuff throughout the year.
Yeah, no, it was, I actually enjoyed the piece of not having anybody there for qualifying, to be honest. And then I really enjoyed it for main draw singles, and for mixed doubles. It was really nice to play in front of a home crowd and have that support, have my family there, friends there. So that was really cool. But for me, I think US Open especially just has this extra pressure. Like it just comes with a little bit of extra pressure, and different than other slams or any other tournaments. Like, it is my home slam. I'm from New York, currently in New York right now, and grew up, going to the US Open every single year. And I just think I was able to play a little bit more freely, and with less distractions in qualifying, and had a lot of confidence and gained confidence throughout all my matches. And then, once main draw hit, like in my mind, like I thought I was going to win that match. Like I didn't care who I was playing. And obviously, Iga's a great player, and, she is where she is. And, I felt that I could definitely win that match. And I still believe. I actually just watched the match 2 days ago, and, I think that I'm right there with her. And, but yeah, overall, I had a really good experience. It's probably my best experience at the US Open I've ever had.
That's positive though, isn't it? I guess going into next year as well. Like obviously, kind of taking big steps going forward, which is great. You said that you watched that match? So is that something you do quite regularly, like watching matches back if you can, to see what where you can improve or what you did well, etc. Or is it just kind of sporadic?
When I can, I'm very, very critical, so I really have to go into it with a clear intention. And sometimes I like to watch it with a coach or with somebody else, just to keep me on track, because I can, get pretty down on myself real quick. But I took a lot of positives from that match. And, I still see a lot of room for improvement, which there's always room for improvement. So it's kind of good to see areas that, I'm looking to get better at. But overall, it's just, I saw a lot of good things and things I have been working on, and to actually see the change in the growth, I was really proud of myself.
No, that's I guess that's the best feeling, isn't it? When you don't just watch a match back and you think, oh, I could have done X, Y, and Z, but you're actually thinking, well, that I'm doing this better, etc. I'm moving the right direction. Do you feel that way then? I guess after this, because it sounds like the US Open was kind of quite a big step for you. And was it a little bit of I don't want to say breakthrough, but it was a positive tournament to then go forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think before US Open, I made finals of a
Yeah.
125 in Charleston, and I really didn't expect that to happen. But match by
Mm,
match, I got better there, and I started getting confidence throughout that tournament. I actually got confidence in Poland before that, even though I lost to Zaneska, who won the tournament.
yeah.
But I saw, like, where I saw, things were headed in a better direction. And I was just kind of
Mm,
trusting myself in the process a bit, and little by little is connecting. And I didn't get too down on myself after my losses, because I saw a lot of positives, and I think that was just a huge step forward for me, and carry that into the Open. And hopefully can continue to carry that out.
yeah, that sounds fantastic. What does I was going to ask you actually as well. Like, Swiatek seems to have quite a not unorthodox, but her forehand seems a little bit unorthodox in the way she hits it. I mean, as an opponent, what were you kind of thinking of when you're going into that? I mean, in terms of how you're going to approach it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted to play my game and, be aggressive and, yeah, kind of, try to, attack that side, but move the ball around a bit because also if she's just standing there, she's top 10 in the world. She knows how to hit
Mhm.
a forehand. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to kind of play my game and,
Yeah.
adjust and yeah.
How much of it, when you do play against someone, is you just saying, "I'm going to play to the best of my ability," and actually then looking at your opponent and making a game plan? Is it a mix, or is there one more than the other?
It's a mix, but at the end of the day, I'm going to stick with what I know, what I'm good at, and go in with that mentality. And then if that's not working, have a plan B, have a plan C. But I'm, you know, everyone knows how to hit a ball. So
Hmm.
there's not a whole lot of glaring weaknesses at this stage, but
Yeah.
it's just making adjustments throughout the match and also just seeing like who can capitalize on the opportunities and in pressure moments. That's when, things really show. So it's just hanging in there the entire time.
Nice. Makes a lot of sense. What would you say then in terms of like your year so far? What would you say are the kind of the highs, the kind of the moments that you kind of look back on at the moment and think like those are the highlights of it?
Charleston in the US Open,
Yeah.
definitely the highlights. It's been a very, very difficult year for
Mm.
me. So there hasn't been too many highlights. But I've really been working hard on myself and finding my own happiness within myself and on the tennis court. And that's really shown recently, but that's definitely taken a lot of time. But that's also something that's still a work in progress.
Sounds fun. No, well, that's fantastic to hear. But I guess as you said before, like it's a process, isn't it? So then I guess it's long term benefits reaping from it. So yeah, I look forward to that. What are your ambitions then? I guess in terms of next year, I'm assuming you probably haven't thought about it too much, but just want to get your thoughts on. I mean, when you do end a year or coming towards the end of the year, do you then have goals in your mind of where you want to reach the next year? So, for example, in 2022, do you have set goals like I want to be in the top whatever, top 100, top 75, top 50? For example, I want to win a tournament or two, etc. Or is it go with the flow, play my best tennis, kind of trust the process and see where I'm at?
I'll definitely come up with goals. Every year I've had the goal of being top 100 and it's easier said than done, but that's definitely one of them. I'll be in qualifying of Australia, so I have that, and I definitely want to do well there and qualify for another slam. But other than that, I haven't really thought too deeply about next year. Just kind of living the moment right now, and we'll start to think about goals when the time is right.
That makes sense. Does I guess I'm from the UK. You can probably tell from my accent. But obviously, here Raducanu's been it's gone pretty crazy. Obviously, with her winning the US Open. As someone who obviously qualified as well, and then you see like she is the first qualifier ever to go through in the Open era to win a Grand Slam. Do you think, and for you personally, do you think like the rest of the girls in the WTA as well? Do you think that gives them confidence to say, we can do a similar thing, or not? No, we can do a similar thing, the same thing, or kind of do something similar of that ilk. To say, well, hold on, if she can do it, why can't we? Because it seems like from what small percentages, and obviously, she had. I'm happy to admit that obviously even though I'm from the UK, that her draw was slightly easier than, so for example, Leila Fernandez's. Um, I mean, yeah, did you take a little bit from that, or is it fantastic achievement? She did really well, but kind of I'm doing my own thing.
I know, I think it definitely, gives us a lot of encouragement, but, to actually see it, because
Mm,
I think I mean, for myself, like, I always, I believe I can do X, Y, and Z, but to actually see someone out of my caliber to do it, I think it really just shows the depth of players that are
Yeah.
ranked 100 and below. And I just hope too that people respect the qualifiers a bit more. I think there's still a big difference between people, men, women that are top 100 and then everybody else. And
Mm,
I think I'm really happy that they're allotting more prize money to the lower rounds and qualifying and the first couple rounds of main draw, to give us a chance, because that's where these stories can happen. Like Raducanu, like yeah, her life has changed drastically now, but just like giving us opportunity, and with that extra money, that really does help us, have a support team and just have a little bit more freedom when we're playing, because a lot of times it's like, well, if I don't win this match, I don't have enough money, and how am I going to do this, and this? So, I think this just sheds a lot of light on, how important the qualifying rounds are, and for people to even like come out and watch. There's some of the best matches in qualifying. Everyone's hungry and it's really entertaining. So, yeah, I just hope that people, really see the hard work that is put in on the lower levels.
no, agreed, 100%. I think, yeah, it's definitely something that can be improved. So I actually wanted to ask you then, because that's quite an interesting point you made about qualifying and obviously the prize money increasing. So what's it like then on tour, on the WTA tour? Um, what's your experience been like in terms of traveling to different places? Obviously, you've had a kind of array of experiences at 125s, at Grand Slams, everything in between, everything before as well. Um, you said obviously about qualifiers being respected more, etc. as well. Do you feel like it's moving in the right direction in terms of being able to have, for example, enough prize money to sustain yourself properly, get through it, and it's becoming easier, or is there still a lot of work to be done?
There's still a lot of work to be done at the Grand Slam level. I think they're doing a really good job of prioritizing that. But still, at the lower levels, the WTAs, there could be more. But I understand with COVID, there's been a lot of deficit. So they're still trying to make up for that
Mm,
money. And there's still been a prize money cut, I believe, on both ATV and WTA. But it's really hard, between all the expenses, with yourself and having a coach or someone with you. Money is important, and hopefully they can add more to the earlier rounds in events other than the Grand Slams.
mm, no, agreed. I think it would be nice actually to have more exposure to those tournaments and qualifying, making it more accessible for people to watch as well, so they can get more familiar with it. Because I feel like there is quite a big cohort of people that would watch it, quite a large portion of people that would watch it. So I think that would be something in the right direction. Um, Actually, I wanted to ask you on on Radicon just briefly. What did you think? Were you obviously it's very surprising, but I mean, were you as someone who is on the tour as well to see those two in the final, two teenagers, the youngest final since 1999, I think it was Serena Williams and Martina Hingis, if I'm not mistaken. Is it a kind of you said it's obviously encouraging, but in terms of excitement around the tour, do you think it's helped it quite a bit? And did you think being, I guess, there as well and then watching it, did you feel like there was a lot of excitement around at Flushing Meadows?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of excitement because I think people get bored of seeing the same people over and over again. And to see the success of two teenagers, like you said, haven't had it for many years now. And it's pretty refreshing to see that. And, it just keeps things interesting. And I'm a big uh, Jesus, I can't even think of the word.
Proponent, yeah.
Proponent. There you go. I'm a little tired.
That's all right.
Big proponent of women's tennis and women's sports in general, and just to see that there's more viewers for the women's final than the men's final. That's huge for our sport, and for the WTA in general. So hopefully hopefully it continues to be that way, and people keep watching women's tennis and watch the sport grow and watch the young ones come up, and then people like me, I don't know what you want to call me, but hopefully have my breakthrough and have success at 26 years old.
Inevitable. It's okay. I'm around the same age as you. We're very young. Don't worry. I'm still very young. Yeah, I think. I mean, it's amazing. Like 4 different Grand Slam champions as well in the year, so it's only a good thing. And I agree. Like, I genuinely hope that there's the same level of excitement now going into 2022 for both tours. I had a question actually on Grand Slam tournaments on the women's side. I want to get your opinion on this because I think it's quite an interesting one. I'm kind of not sure on it, but I've heard some people say that obviously on the men's side you've got best of 3 and then best of 5 in Grand Slams. Do you think personally would you want the same for the women's?
Personally, I don't want to play best of 5. No. No.
No.
No.
And do you think there'd be an appetite for it?
I mean, maybe interesting, but I mean, I don't see a need for it.
No, I agree. I just thought I'd ask because I think it's quite interesting. Like, I think some people have obviously some people have talked about it in the past, and obviously it hasn't happened, which is, I think, it's understandable. But it's just interesting to see. Cause I'm always intrigued to know because on the men's side, for example, some players are saying, "Well, we should go to best of 3 in Grand Slams tournaments." Some are saying, "No, we should stick to the best of 5." So it's interesting, I guess, about the wear and tear. I had a few more, I guess, hopefully more fun questions for you to answer, not as serious. So I'm sure that's what you're looking forward to be fair.
Ready.
So my first question is for you personally, who's the GOAT in the women's game?
For me personally, Serena.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And why?
She's a beast. I don't think anyone in this open era is going to do what she's done. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. That's right. And the men's game?
Fed. I'm such a huge Fed fan.
Yeah.
And I'll cry when he retires. And hopefully that's not next year, but it just from his, little interviews and comments, I don't know how hopeful I am of him coming back next year. But yeah, he's a class act. Like, people say Djokovic is a GOAT. Like, he might end up winning more than Fed and Nadal, but Fed is still the GOAT.
I'm a big Nadal fan. But yeah, no, I get that for sure. I was actually there at Wimbledon when he lost to Hubert Hurkacz, so that was interesting. But yeah, he's phenomenal. So I get that, and there's no particularly right answer. It's all personal, I find, anyway. To be fair, and actually, the last question I wanted to ask you is: I don't see many tennis players wearing sunglasses, but I'm pretty sure you do in some of your tennis matches. How come? Is it? Yeah, what's it? Is it just because you're more comfortable wearing them? Is it because it helps you see better? Is it? What's the reason?
My eyes are just really sensitive to the sun, and I've been wearing sunglasses on court since I was 8 years old. And
oh wow,
yeah, I know it was rare for me, my main draw match, to not be wearing it, but that's when it's like really cloudy and there's really no sun because even in England, like, I wear my sunglasses until it's like about to rain. So it's very rare to see me play without sunglasses unless it's indoors.
Well, it's very unique, so it's good because people definitely recognize you. So it's a good thing to have.
My signature look, my signature shades.
Signature shades, exactly. Get them sponsored ASAP, I say. Okay, I'm just going to say some phrasal words, and I just want you to, you can get either say one word answers or maybe it's just a sentence. But yeah, the first thing that pops into your head: clay courts.
Even though actually actually, no. I'm gonna change that. Love, because green clay, because I've been having success on green clay lately.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Favorite slam?
U.S. Open
Doubles or singles?
singles.
Ginny Bouchard.
Sports Illustrated.
Fair enough. John McEnroe.
Competitive.
Roger Federer.
Amazing.
Emma Raducanu.
Inspirational.
Asia Muhammad.
Love her. God, there's so many words I can think of for Asia. If she's listening, she'll know the one. No, I think that says enough, doesn't it? I love her.
Beach or city break?
Ooh, both. It depends.
Okay.
Right now I need beach.
What would you be if you weren't a tennis player?
Honestly, I feel like there's so many little side hustles that I do that I can't even choose. Wasn't a tennis player. I'd make a good agent. I'm very persistent and I like getting things done, and I believe that I can get things done. So
Okay, interesting. And then last couple, Venus Williams.
another goat.
Another good. Okay, and last one, Daniel Medvedev.
Squidward.
Squidward?
Yeah.
What?
One of my friends understands, but just like his arm, everything flopping around, he just reminds me of Squidward.
Fair enough. I actually did, rather embarrassingly, his celebration whilst on holiday in Canada, and he actually viewed it. Didn't repost it, but it's fine. If you're watching, Daniel, thank you for viewing my photo of embarrassingly doing the same pose as you. Yeah,
Hopefully you didn't hurt yourself.
No, it's fine. It was at Lake Louise actually in Canada. It was on some rocks, but it was fine. It's okay. Broke the fall. But yeah, no, thank you very much, Jane, for being on. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
No, I appreciate you having me. And, if anyone wants to follow me in my journey, JLoeb308. I post some entertaining stuff, or at least I think it is. I laugh at myself all the time.
Yeah, that's on Instagram. What about are you on Twitter and anything else?
JLoeb308. And we were like, what's the 308? I'm like, that's my birthday. So you have no excuse to forget my birthday because it's all over the place.
Okay, very good. I was wondering what it was, to be fair. Oh, good.
March 8th.
So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, please do follow Jamie on Twitter and Instagram. I'll put your links to, or at least I'll put your Twitter and Instagram handles in the description to the video as well, so people can follow you. So yeah, I appreciate you being on. Thank you again, guys. And if you don't mind, please do like and subscribe to the channel if you don't mind, and you can follow us as well on Twitter and Instagram, all that good stuff. But yeah, have a fantastic day, and hopefully a fantastic rest of the year. And as you said, Australian Open next year as well. So looking forward to that, and all the best for the rest of the year and going forward.
Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.